Hi guys, hope you all are doing great. Welcome to my podcast, the Ver Que Pasa show. I'm your host, Leticia, and I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, just before the new year, I talked about how 2025 was going to be dedicated to dating. My journey to find a partner, maybe a husband, hopefully. And so going forward, each week I'm going to share some tips and my experiences on the dates that I've gone on, which this week I had to cancel a date yesterday because I'm fighting the flu. I feel better today, but if you wonder why I'm wearing this, I was just so cold in the house. Anyway, so canceled the date yesterday. Maybe he'll reschedule. I'm not sure yet. I haven't heard from him. That's okay. It would have been our first meeting, but today I'm going to give you some tips, some dating tips on what I do and the things that I've done since I started dating back in 2020 I'm lying, 2022, the summer that my son was leaving for college. On his insistence, he created my first profile on a dating app called OurTime.com. And I was shocked that he even knew about it, but he sat me down. He chose maybe one or two pictures and he filled everything out. And I just sat by him and I said, I'm really not ready. And he said, you need to be ready. It's time. It's time for you to move on. I want you to find someone. I don't want you to be alone. So let's start with this. And so I did. I met a couple of nice men, but clearly things did not work out, and that's okay. I learned a lot of things along the way, but the tips I'm going to share today are things that you might consider dating, and all of us who are in our 50s, mid 50s and older might consider doing because things have changed. I may have mentioned to you that my daughter is 100% against the online dating. My son is on the opposite end of the spectrum. So it was his idea. It was my first time being introduced to online dating. It was scary, and it took a while for me to go on my first date, maybe 4 months. I'm thinking it was 4 months before I had my first date. I was just so nervous to go out with a stranger and meet somebody. I always chose either coffee or lunch. And if they couldn't do lunch, or if they didn't want to have our first date during the weekend, I would always choose coffee early or lunch. And if you didn't want that, you too bad. I never went against my feelings or my doubts. So that's been my choosing. Well, anyway, the tips I have for today, I'm going to read on my notes, okay? First thing, know what you want. So this is a new year for me. So I literally sat down and I made a list of all the qualities, excuse me, that I'm looking for in a man. It's not a checklist, but it's more of just a reminder of what I want. I went looking for somebody who's kind, somebody who's thoughtful, someone who is a good listener, respectful not only of me, but of others. For example, the server, if we're at a restaurant, are they respectful to them? Are they humble? Those are some of the qualities that I am looking for in a partner. And of course, there's so many qualities to choose from. But honestly, I sat down, in a comfortable spot, and I took my time thinking back on my last relationship that was back in 2021, what I learned from that relationship and what I wanted to carry forward in my new relationship. So know what you want. That way you'll know where to look for it. Okay? Number 2, embrace online dating. If you haven't already been exposed or seen or gone online to set up a profile, do it. For those of us that are in our mid-50s, that is the way to go. Honestly, I'm not going to find somebody at church. I'm not going to find someone at the gym. I'm not going to find somebody at the grocery store, because it hasn't happened. 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in March, it'll be 4 years since my last relationship. And I go shopping every day. I work out at least 5 times a week. I go to church on and off, but I have not met anyone that I want to date at any of those places. So if you haven't already, for those of you that are 50 and over, there are a few really good online dating sites. A couple of my friends have met their husbands on eHarmony and Match. So those, I would say, they are a little bit expensive, but if you're willing to invest that money and serious about a relationship and finding a partner, I would say do it. Okay, there are, I will say, include this, Facebook dating is free. So I haven't met anybody on Facebook, although I used it last year, but I didn't date anybody. I may have had a couple of dates, but nobody that I'm dating, clearly. So I would say eHarmony, what did I say? And Match. Those two are the ones that I would try first. There's also one called Elite Singles. And I believe that the quality of men there, they're willing to pay. You have to pay. I did try them last year, and I met a couple of nice, really nice men. It just didn't work out for us. So those are paid. I would try those first. eHarmony, Elite Singles, and Match. Okay. Number 3, invest in your dating profile. When you set up a dating profile, it didn't take me 5 minutes. Even this year, which I created a new account on a different online dating platform, and it took me 2 days because I wanted to be specific. I didn't want to include any BS. I wanted my profile to attract nice men to it. And so I actually just finished it up before coming on a few minutes ago, but I took my time. I completed half of it yesterday, and then today I completed the rest. Choose nice photos of yourself and your interests, where you're laughing, where the pictures are clear. I mean, all of these things will be instructions. They'll be given when you try to upload a photo. And also when you're writing your bio, take your time and be clear on what you're looking for. I would say invest some time. Don't rush through it. Take your time. Answer the questions honestly. It's actually rather fun, because some of those things you don't think about until you're answering some of them on an app, online dating. So take your time on that. It's a lot of fun, and be true to yourself. Okay. Number 4, diversify your dating avenues. For example, if your friends say, I know this nice man, I know this really nice girl, be open to a blind date. Be open. It's fun going on dates. You get dressed, whether it's coffee or lunch. Sometimes, if you feel comfortable, then go to dinner in a public place. I am going to start going to dinner. I had that one date, which it was not great last Sunday, but I'm going to start going to dinner at really nice places because I love to dress up. Something I don't do for work, and I don't do it here at home. So anyway, if your friend wants to set you up, say, okay, go someplace where you feel safe, and join a club. If you love to read, join a book club. If you love photography, join a photography club. If you love to hike, join a hiking club. There's so many opportunities. On another app I just remembered, this is another place where you can meet people where you're doing things that are hobbies or your interests. It's called Meetup. And I'm not sure if they have a dating section there, but I do know that they have a lot of clubs. That's where I joined my book club from last year, which I had a lot of fun, and I read some really cool books. So just be open to different avenues, not only the dating, online dating. Number 5, expect and embrace rejection. By that I mean, sometimes the guy's going to say, hey, this did not work out, I'm not feeling something, and you have to be okay with it. Sometimes you're going to say, oh, you know what, you're a really nice guy, but I didn't feel a connection. I don't think we're right for each other, and that's okay. So just be aware that the first time that you meet someone on the date, he could be handsome, he could make you laugh every 5 seconds, he could just have beautiful smoldering eyes. However, you may want something and he may want something else. So just be aware that rejection does happen. Believe me, it's happened to me more times than I care to acknowledge. Number 6, don't compare. Don't compare your date to an ex or to a past relationship. Everyone is unique and every relationship is different. So if you're on a date and the guy does something, or he says, or the girl does something or says something or has a gesture that reminds you of your old flame, just keep it to yourself. Just look at it like a fleeting thought and move on. Don't compare. Don't ever say, oh, my ex used to do that and that annoys me, or something to that effect. Never, ever, ever do that unless you want your date to walk up and leave you with the bill. Walk out of there. He or she will walk out of there so fast, you will only see their smoke. So don't ever compare. Number 7, embrace intimacy. And I'm gonna be honest with you. In almost 4 years, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 4 years, yes, I have not had an intimate relationship, and that has been my decision. That's just who I am. I don't do hookups. I just don't do that. And I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying, if it happens, like, I imagine that if I meet someone on a date and we connect and we click and we just don't want the night to end, I'll probably want to be intimate with him. But I have not had a connection like that in all these years. It hasn't happened. Maybe there may have been a connection, a slight connection, and then we have a second date and he says something that I didn't like, or I may have said something that he didn't like. Needless to say, the second dates did not work out, or for a third or fourth or fifth date. So, but if it happens, if I meet somebody I feel that I will know when I'm ready to be intimate with that person. I will know in my heart, I will know. And it won't be just because he has beautiful eyes or he sweet talks me or opens the door or pulls out my chair. That's not going to be the reason why I want to be intimate with somebody. It's going to be a connection from my heart. So that's, to me, that's very important. But embrace intimacy, especially if you are like myself in your 50s and it's been a while since you have been intimate with someone. Don't ever criticize your body. Don't talk negatively about your body. Everyone's beautiful. Everyone has has a gift. Everybody has something special about them. We're all unique. So if it happens for you, yes, intimacy. It's important in a relationship. It really is. Number 8. When I read this, I wasn't sure. I'm going to do some more research, but the tip is research your date. If you connect with somebody online, before you set up a date or before you agree to a date with that person, I would say ask him or her for their full name. So you could Google, you could do a quick internet search, you could find just some things about them. You could search their social media handles and just get a deeper insight. And that'll give you a more comforting feeling before you go on a date. Now, if that person says, why should I give you my last name? Then that might be a red flag not to go out with that person. Anyway, I only had one person tell me, remember that guy with whom I had coffee last Sunday at noon at Malone Coffee near Metric? He told me, oh, before I got here, I already knew your last name. I hadn't even given him my phone number. I'm not even sure that was, he said, if you want to know how to do it, let me know. Well, he never called back. He never texted. So I will do my own research. But yes, research your date beforehand to see that make sure he's not some kind of weirdo or criminal. Okay. Number 9, be open about the past. Meaning, if you're going through a messy divorce, or if you had a messy divorce, or if your last marriage ended in cheating, or if there was an affair, or about your kids, anything that you feel is important and on your heart that you want to share with your date, you need to do it as soon as possible, as early as possible in the relationship. Maybe the first date, if he or she asks you out on a second date, you might want to bring that up then, to be fair to them, because they will have to decide whether or not they want to pursue the relationship with you. If they feel that it's too much drama or you have too much baggage, then they're going to walk away, but it's okay. It's early enough in the relationship that it won't break your heart, but you need to be honest about your past. You need to be honest with that person. I would always. Honesty is key to building a good relationship. We need to shed past baggage. So whatever baggage we're holding on, whatever grudge, whatever bad feelings we have, whatever bad vibes, we need to let it go. Let it go, let it go. Every relationship that did not work out is a lesson. Something in that relationship that we experienced with that person, whether it was a short-term relationship, but more so the longer ones, there's always a lesson. There's always a lesson to take from that relationship. Take the lesson, leave the baggage. Forgive them, forgive yourself, and move on. But don't carry that all the time from now until forever. Leave it behind. Leave your baggage behind. Especially, don't talk badly about your ex. I wouldn't. Even if he's happily married and lives in a mansion and he and you lived in an apartment, Don't talk badly about your ex, especially if he's your ex-husband and the father of your children. Let it go. God will bless you for being humble in that respect. That's my advice. Tell your loved ones. Tell your loved ones that you want to start dating again. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. When I first told my mom that I wanted to date again, that was after my son was in college. He was already August, the first semester in 2022. The first thing out of my mother's mouth, I kid you not, she says, ¿Y pa qué, Leti? ¿Por qué no te quedas sola? And I said, what? Are you serious, Mom? You'd rather that I stay by myself? You and Dad have been married more than 50 years. So I let it go. Didn't get mad at my mom after that one question, like, how could you say that about me? I want to be happy too. I really stopped sharing everything about my dating with my mom. I might tell my sister, my middle sister, my daughter, sometimes, not always, because I have a feeling that she's going to say, Mom, don't put yourself through this. Get off those sites. And so I mostly keep it to myself. God knows everything that I'm feeling. So he's the person that I turn to when I need advice. Because my mom will say, oh, ¿y pa qué? Why do you want, why don't you want to stay by yourself? You're independent. You have your house, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I want to hear. So I told her what I want. She knows that I want to date and that I want to find a partner. But she's kept her opinions to herself as soon as she noticed that I backed off. But for you all, if you have close family that supports you in that way, or friends or sisters or cousins or co-workers, then tell them so they will know that you are interested in going out there and dating again. Number 12, consider age gap dating. That's something that I was not familiar with. So I did some research, and that is when an older man dates a younger woman, which we see often, more often than an older woman dating a younger man, which I think that's called a cougar. Why are women that date younger men cougars, but older men who date younger women are called lucky? I don't understand that. But if you guys know or can explain that to me, how is that fair? Then please do so. I would never date a younger man. I would never date a younger man, because when I'm 60, he'll always be younger, which means, I don't know. I have my reasons for that, but for me, dating a younger man is not even an option. For you guys that want to do it, more power to you. I'm proud of you for going out there and for even considering that. Good for you. And I hope that you find somebody that is great. Number 13, be honest. Be honest about your expectations. Be honest. If you want to be married in 2 years, and you want to settle down, then tell that person, tell your date, actually that conversation can happen on the first date, just so you know if your date, he might seem interested and great until you share that with him or her, and they might say, oh no, that I don't want to settle down. I want to be free. I want to do whatever I want to with whomever I want, whenever I want. So this gal is not for me. You need to be honest. When I have a date, on the first date, I keep it light and fun. But if some of the questions lead back to, so what are you looking for? on this, on the dating app? What are you looking for? What's your goals? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to find? What do you want your life to look like? Then I say, okay, well, I want to be married. I want to be married. I want to be married. I want to have a best friend, a partner, someone that is my confidant, somebody that I can trust. Being in a relationship is so wonderful. Of course, nothing is perfect and there are highs and lows, but when you've been alone for a long time, I've been divorced for almost 13 years. I've only had one relationship in that time, but I do miss it. I miss it. I want to be married again. That's what I want. I want to be married again. I want to have a partner. I want to do fun things. I want to know that somebody has my back. Someone more than a boyfriend. That's just me, guys. Okay? But be honest. Be honest about what you're looking for. And why you're on this app. Well, I'm on this app because I want to have fun. I want to date. I want to be a serial dater. And that's what I want. I'm not going to settle down. Or you can say, well, I'm hoping to get into a long-term relationship leading to marriage in the next 3 years. That's what I want. And I'm sticking to it. Okay. And number 14, know when it's okay to ask for a second date. For example, if you've had a great date, a coffee date, or your first date was you went for a walk or you rode your bikes or whatever activity you guys experienced, if it went great, don't ask that person on your way to the car, when can I see you again? I would say, I had a great time. I'd like to do this again. And leave it at that. I leave it open. Excuse me. Pardon me. Or maybe they will say, oh, I had a great time. Can I have your number? Can I see you this weekend? That's great. But I never make the first move. I want to be sure that there's enough time that he can process what happened, our conversation. If he likes me and he's genuinely interested, then he will text me, because at that point I will be giving him my phone number. He will text me or call me and say, hey, I had a great time. I want to see you again. But if we exchange phone numbers, which I usually do after the first date, then if I don't hear from him in 3 days, I might say, hey, how are you? Hope everything's great. Or if I don't hear from him, I might see him online on the app. So, but if he doesn't reach out, I will not reach out to him, even when I know that he's online, because I don't know, I have some dignity. I'm not going to chase a man down. So anyway, those are my dating tips for tonight. Hopefully I can share a story of my next date soon. I hope I have a date this week. And it will be for dinner, and it will be a nice restaurant, because I deserve it and you guys also deserve it. So have fun dating. Be careful, of course, always be careful, be cautious who you're going out with. Meet in a public place. Be honest. Keep it light. Hopefully you won't cry on the first date when he or she asks you, about your past. It's going to be great, guys. Let's go on this journey. I'm excited to hear your stories. Share your stories in the comments or send me an email to Ver Que Pasa in life@gmail.com. I would love to hear about your dates or your dating journey, especially if you're in your mid-50s and older. Y A ver que pasa this week. Bye, guys. Take care.